Greetings, everyone. Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Moge. I'm in a slightly different spot here, trying it out. Let me just beginning prayer. Is my holy lineage. Greetings to my family wherever you are, both living and unliving. Sounds weird, but people pass away. Anyway, give me 1 second. I know I'm on Moge. I just want to make sure because whenever I'm doing everything myself, there's a part of me that's like, am I really doing this? Anyway, let's get right into it. The structure today, as usual, I'm gonna give my points along with the bonus piece of information and the two questions twice. But in between each one, well, after each one, I'm gonna actually sing because I'm trying to make more music, basically, and just uh, acknowledge how spontaneous I am. And I forgot the pen I wanted to use to mark things down. Okay. Anyway, yeah, it's the first time I've done it in the morning. Did I ever live stream in the morning before? I don't know. Anyway, I'm just trying this out. This is interesting. I'm thinking of something. Anyway, let me go. Once again, greetings. Just re up the prayer, not double double. Trying to use my left hand less. I already don't use it. I'm right-handed. I'll bring them again. I grew up. I'll just say I grew up in a context where using the left hand was discouraged, even for left-handed people, which is not right. But it was particularly annoying to me because I'm right-handed. So telling me to use my right hand, it's like telling me I need to blink sometimes. It's like, doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. But anyway, I think ironically, making me conscious of my left hand made me use it more than I should because I already don't use my left hand much. But I'm finding out that because for context, one thing I'm thinking of is human motion, and I'm getting into the main points. I just want to get this. But one thing I'm looking into is human motion, and I think we as human beings have forgotten that we're not all ambidextrous. Let me say it like that. I've been thinking about this in the context of sports because there's a trend of getting players to be equally proficient with both hands, but I think that's unhealthy. And part of that is my own experience in life in general, even in sports, but just in life in general. I've realized that there are a lot of times I could use my right hand, but I just use my left hand and it throws off my circuitry, makes me uncomfortable. Um, my orientation, like if you notice, people tend to square face up to things. I'm thinking that might be unhealthy, at least for a lot of people. Definitely for me, I need to square up my right hand because this is what's doing things, and then this one is just it does other things. Let me say that. Obviously, it can be used, but that's really a backup function, or that's really just to, like, I guess, to cap certain things off. Anyway, anyway, let me just go. So, welcome to Moge. This is my personal network right now. I'm on YouTube, streaming via StreamYard. Thank you to StreamYard. This is my personal YouTube channel. So that's for giving out personal information about myself, stuff relevant to my being and also my life specifically. And also just letting people know I exist generally. That's important. All people should acknowledge their own existence and have other people acknowledge it. And on top of that, this is where I debut my desire to do things. Like, for example, if I want to talk about a certain subject, I'm going to come on here and say, hey, I'm planning on talking about this. Things of that nature. There are other uses, but those are the ones I want to highlight right now. And again, you can see my name here, Chimoge, aka Moge. My given name is Chimoge, so like if I'm just talking to myself, I'll just say, like if I'm talking to myself without doing a bunch of affirmations and things where I'm saying, oh, I'm the greatest, whatever, whatever, to hype myself up, I'll just say, okay, I'm Shimoge, right? Um, I also allow people to call me Moge because that's uh, sorry. I always want to begin thinking I want to say it or I can tolerate saying it in a way that most people will understand immediately. But then I'm like, no, that's metaphysically incorrect. People have misconceptions. So forgive me for taking a pause here. But the name Moge, um, I don't want to use these terms that people don't use. So forgive me. What do I say about Moge? Okay, let me say it like this. If you want to be very crass, you could say it's a nickname that is fitting. But I think that's very crass. I think the concept of a nickname needs to be looked into. Definitely metaphysically, I don't think it's the right term for those things. They're all the same thing. Obviously, you can see Moge is a shorter. Obviously, you can see if you take the first three letters off of Shimoge, you get Moge, right? So that's part of the source of the name. But Moge, I want to get into everything right now. Let me take a second. Basically, Moge refers to Amadio, means know the time or knowledge time, same thing. That also mean husband, Amadio, a good husband to people, same thing. Uh, I'll just say, I am the head of Amadio. Hi, I'm special. Join my call. Okay. These things. And then, anyway, I actually haven't had anyone harass me about saying I'm Onishi Kalakan, Onishi Amadio. Um, what does that mean? I wanted to talk about the subject. I'm not just licking myself. uh, oh Lord, I just don't feel like explaining all that. Basically, I'm big. Let me just say it like that. So anyway, I'm big because of a very special relationship with a certain thing, and then Moge refers to that. Anyway, the point of this is why we need to reform naming and naming culture in the world today. Because I'll be honest, my name is not good, but it's better than like 99% of people's names. We have Peter and Paul. Anyway, let me leave the thought that the point is I'm trying to tell you who I am. Shimoge, my given name. If you want to do something else, you can also call me Moge. And then my government name is Chimoge Chijoke Ibe. I'm saying it like that because the government name is not the metaphysically correct name for most people. At the very least, in the context I'm aware of, just because most people do not wake up and say, hi, I'm my first name, my middle name, my last name, you know. I know you have some exceptions, but to be clear, this is about what you call yourself um, basically in your innermost mind when you're being honest. I know, for example, there might be some people who've been called their government last name all their life, and then that becomes their name. Like genuinely, that's very destructive. Because if you think about that, then you might have like 10 people in the family all saying, "My name is Smith," so they can't distinguish each other. Um, I've seen things that indicate stuff like that happens. Anyway, the point is, there should be a lot of depth to your name, but you should be able to just give it out and go on. So if you have someone like myself who wants to talk and then, for transparency reasons, has to say 2 million things to explain their name, something went wrong. And I'll add another piece of information. Someone's name is not just the letters. You actually have to talk about the process of naming them in depth. It should be documented, the ideas behind it, and how that relates to them as a person and a being. Your name is meant to help you understand yourself and help other people understand you, as much as necessary. It's not just it's not just a random label to put on someone, or it's not just to glorify, you know, whoever named them. It's not to, it's not just to tick off a box. Naming is important. So if you just name someone Paul and go forward, and then they ask why they were named Paul, and then you say something like, "Oh, I read in the Bible and I felt nice," or I saw an actor's name was Paul. That's not good. That's not good. Oh, I just saw 11:11. Point is, let me just restate that in a way that will allow people to just find me and verify my identity. I'm just saying that because there are a lot of fraudsters out here. I'm not trying to do that. Here we go. Cool. This is my name. This is my name. I am my name. I am my name. All right. Anyway, well, my name is Chimoge. You can also call me Moge. My government name is Chimoge Chijoke Ibe. That's both for the U.S., where I was born and raised, and Nigeria, where my parents, to be quick, are from. And when I say that they were born and raised there, it just so people are all of a sudden from the lines on a map that someone drew that they were born so you did they grow out of the ground? I'll be honest, even because again my metaphysically correct name, based on my research and information given to me by relatives who passed away who've contacted me when I pray, because again that's possible, right? Atheism is not correct. Shimoge and K Rom. The Rom apparently refers to where I was born. That's the correct name for it. But I'm telling you this now. I'm not 100% sure why the name has to be based upon where you were born. Because, I mean, there's more to you than where you were born, right? So, again, I'm picking up the pieces here, But definitely, the idea behind that is not that you are from the land. I'm not Shimoge Shiriram. I didn't grow out of there like a crop, man. Just technically, even the crops don't do that now. They those are life forms that were born, man. You gotta know what I'm talking about. People, if you're not like most of the people, other people where you live have seen before, a lot of times they'll ask you a question like, "Where are you from?" It's a crazy question. Let me just say in my language. If those of you understand the language they call Igbo now, or those of you who speak and or understand my language and are familiar with it being called Igbo, let me say it like that. If you just go up to someone and say, "Hey, let me," and then there's this practice of saying, "I'm a person of this." Uh, like for example, if you just say, let me just use a Buck as a big city. No offense to people who live in a bar or whatever. I'm just using a big city to minimize controversy. If I've scattered anything, whatever, I don't have a connection to it, but I'm sorry. I have to minimize my blasts on my personal life. If you just say Abumonia Abam, Abumonia Abam, Not what needs. Okay. All right, forgive me, forgive me. Let me use a different example. I'll just say that. Let me just use Legos. I know Legos is not in so-called Igbo land, but let me just use it. You guys will get what I mean if I use the stand-in. If you say Abumonia Legos, I'm a person of Legos. What metaphysically? What does that mean? Is that like the entirety of your? You are a person of Legos. Like you're not a person of your bloodline as well. Like you're not a person of the earth. Are you not? Are you not a human being? And then this dovetails with the practice of, and again, a lot of times it points to some truth, right? Maybe your lineage was born in this village, but you say, "Oh, we've been in this village since I talked to my grandfather 20 years ago. We've been in this village." I mean, let's be honest. Almost no one, unless they pray and have been told, and they just feel the resonance, is sure where their lineage was 1,000 years ago. Let me just say it like that. That's kind of a bootleg way of saying it. So, like, given how old our category of life is, that means basically as a collective, we don't know we don't know where we're from. Okay, so there's just a lot of bootleg practices, and again, it's not mostly not our fault. It's just the world is broken anyway. Um, and again, I'm speaking like my beginning reference point for these comments is practices in among modern day so-called Igbos and in modern day so-called Igbo land. Again, I'm just saying that. I'm just saying that. I'm just I'm just saying that because of my position. Let me say that, okay. Um, but based upon my research and observation, there are a lot of other groups that have similar practices. And I also want to say this: what white people do, at least let me just say the stereotype about white people do is way worse. If you just wake up and say I'm a New Yorker because you've been there for 10 years, or if you just say, yeah, I don't know my mom, I don't know my the worst was some of these parents. Well, basically, ends up happening is the kid grows up, stop talking to the parents. They say, "Well, I guess we're not related anymore." Or it's all sorts of things happen. Like I think a lot of it is people don't want to acknowledge. And again, I'll get to the main item. People don't want to acknowledge bad things that have happened. This is very serious. Like if there's a family breakdown, the best thing to say is just, "Yeah, there's a family breakdown." I think our model for family, two types of groups to look at is one, professional sports things, professional sports teams. Yes, this is a me. Just for context, right? At least the vast majority of people cannot talk without our ancestors, right? The spirits help us communicate. They come to us as thoughts. Our thoughts are spirits. You know what I mean? So this idea that you're just this idea that you're just what do atheists believe? I'm sorry. Look, I have sympathy to people who might label themselves agnostic because if you just haven't succeeded in talking to spirits, because again, I was at a point in my life where that happened. There was a lot going on. For context, my ancestors told me that when things, well, they wouldn't do it now, but at that point in my life, things were so bad they actually just pulled back talking to me because I was so spiritually defenseless. And again, it's not my fault that I could have, if in theory, if they'd chosen to talk to me. And again, this is a collective defense mechanism. I could have heard some stuff from like all sorts of bad spirits and entities. That can happen, right? So they just said, you know what, he's sensible enough. He knows what 1 plus 1 is without having to talk to his great great grandfather. So we could just keep it basic with him. Because there's a lot of people who are always looking to the spirit. This spirit must help me. I'll just say it like this. There's no entity that knows literally everything. So at some point you have to put on your best. Forgive me, I'm getting more hot. Ugh. Ugh. Look, man. Pray. If you don't pray, my thing is, even if you would call yourself agnostic, at least I'll get to atheism in a second. If you call yourself agnostic, at least pray every once in a while. And I'm talking about the desperation one. Every once in a while, if you're feeling sad, because if you're agnostic, you're sad now. You don't know. You don't know. And it's probably not your fault if you just don't know, right? You thought about it. You don't know. Put up a desperation one. Just say, you're probably thinking God just because how the world is today. Just say, hey, God. And again, you know my position. God is an evil entity. Just look at what all these God worshippers have been doing. I mean, like people go to jail every day talking about God. There's a form of Christ. My ancestors telling me to stay focused. I'm sorry. All right, let me increase the seriousness. Okay. Anyway, the point. This is genuine advice. If you're agnostic, and by that I mean you're not sure whether or not, and I'll just say it like this: God exists. Every once in a while, I recommend throwing up a desperation prayer. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you must believe like that. That's kind of crazy. If the belief is just not there, I don't know what to do. It's not your fault. That's just a piece of metaphysical information you don't have, right? And I'm not saying that in a condescending way. I'm just saying I'm not the guy to go up and anyway, you know what I mean. What's the purpose of this? Stay focused. Anyway, desperation prayer. Just every once in a while, hey, whoever's up there, help me. I recommend that. That helped me when I was in that phase. Yeah, atheist though now. I cannot respect that because how are you 100% sure that, man, all this shit, God does not exist? Like, did you run out of. Did, okay, let's just go. Anyway, whatever. If you like that train of thought I was on, just tell me in the comments. I'll finish it later. Let's go. So the title of this live stream: many YouTubers. Hold up, people make me mad. Many YouTubers, and just because you made me mad doesn't mean I don't like you. I've seen some people online I like engage in this too, but I'm just gonna go. Many YouTubers seem to be fighting and talking about other people's fights in the media. Many YouTubers seem to be fighting and talking about other people's fights in the media. When I say YouTubers, I just mean people who post stuff on YouTube. And maybe they're part of a group that does that. Their clips are appearing on YouTube. I'm not one of these people who has done tax law. I don't know. not live stream. It's 100%. Doesn't exist. Why you think about it enough to live with yourself? I'm 100% sure that oh, let me just say Miller and Killer doesn't exist. So Mr. Anti Maybe I'll think about this for a second. Say you haven't thought about it. Someone asks you and say, "Yeah, I don't think that exists." Why would you not just later say, "Yeah, I haven't thought about it. I don't know." Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Again, let's go for it on that. Okay. So, point one. I see many famous people who post videos on YouTube fighting in the media. I see many famous people who post videos on YouTube fighting in the media. Point one. I've just seen many names come up and I don't know why it's happening. Second point. I'll just say they seem to be focusing on the fact that black men are involved. And I was just trying to write this short. Another way of saying this is they seem to be focusing on the fact that the people fighting are black. A third way of saying this is I've seen a lot of black men say that they shouldn't be criticized because they're black men. At least that's how it came off. The big thing I'm thinking of is this Joe Budden podcast thing that happened. Again, I'll be honest, when I check in on the Joe Budden podcast, that's just like checking in on just I want to be I want to just say it in a way that people understand here. Uh, I'll be honest, I'm just checking up on a dubious person because they're very prominent and what they do has wide ranging effects. Just look at my beat. By the way, this is something else I want to say. I will say it like this: if you're a person who is more masculine than, or a person who is more, I'm sorry, if you're a person who is more energetic, that's a better way to say it, than you are substantive. Generally speaking, you will not enjoy looking at yourself. Let me use this analogy. Do you think the sun enjoys looking at himself? Do you think he enjoys beaming light in his eyes? No. Does that mean there's something wrong with how he looks? No. Does that mean he's not healthy? No. Okay. I'm not even my peak health, but this beard is never going away. I'm just saying that because I grew up in a context and I'm still dealing with people who think that I should cut this beard off and look like a child. I'll be honest, a lot of the grooming standards today for men are about looking like a child who's being abused. I'm just saying, when you grow up, you grow a beard now. I'm just saying, man. All right. Anyway, speaking of someone who's always talking about men, Joe Budden. I'll be honest, I'm not a fan, but at some point you have to monitor a person who's just just making headlines appear on your phone. So every once in a while, I check in on that thing. Have I ever watched a full episode of that thing? I don't know. Anyway, I think he wastes a lot of people's time, and he says a lot of very bad things, and he does a lot of very bad things. Okay, I'll just say it on that. Full video on Joe Budden will come. But anyway, recently, he has a habit of kicking people off his podcast, which doesn't make sense. He kicked someone off his podcast. Um, and again, I'm just gonna say it like this, just because I just okay. I'll just say I think that I'm best to say it because there's a lot going on. Okay, so there's a woman named Melissa Ford. She also makes videos on YouTube. She's been a performer in the past. I guess she still is. There was a time when she was appearing in a lot of music videos. I don't know if she stopped. Maybe she just hasn't done it recently. Anyway, so uh, he kicked her off his podcast, and that was the only woman on the podcast. And I'll just say this for the record: I'm against groups that are entirely male. So um, if you have a group of like what was it, like 8 men, and then you add one woman, you get rid of the woman. Let's say like all male groups not healthy for men now. And again, that's a very serious topic. I'll just leave it at that. But anyway, Neptune got us the sea. Okay, anyway, basically kicked her off. Then some other people who happened to be women criticized him, and he defended himself. And from what I saw, but then there was also something going on with Mark Lamont Hill. There's something. To be honest, that thing is like reality TV. Anyway, um, this all this calamity. He screamed, and the scream was, "I'm a black man." So anyway, other people got involved. The point is that this big bait ball. Let me call it. There's a bait ball that has not yet been eaten by sharks. And in the bait ball, you have people. Just, I mean, I'll just say it like this. Just speaking on Joe Budden, if you've made headlines multiple times, um, for being involved in a situation where it's been alleged that you've committed a crime against a woman you're in a relationship with, and then you consistently show destructive behavior in public. If people criticize you, that's not because you're a black man. That's because you're just not doing well. Let me just say it like that. Um, and let's be real. I think in this discussion, he was trying to say he's the average black man. This guy has been famous for like 2 decades. He's rich. He has a podcast that million. I mean, look at me now. I don't have a lot of money. I'm not the average black man. Take a break. I just see the notifications. I don't know. Anyway, it's not good to bottle things in, man. No, with that podcast, why doesn't he at least tell people to eat ginger? Save a lot of lives. Anyway, this is why I need bodyguards. I don't know his character with that. Because I'll be honest, some of the ways people were reacting after this, I saw walkbacks or accept or whatever. Anyway, I just hope everyone involved obeys the law. Because there's no reason to be so soft that if someone criticizes you, you start talking about your bloodline. I'll also say this: African culture is not for all male groups. So, okay, anyway, they just seem to be focusing on the fact that blackness and I'm just gonna be honest. I'll just say it like this: every black man has a mother. And again, that's a very bootleg way of saying it. I just hope you know what I mean. So, what is this? I ever made a video where I just said, talked about black men in isolation. Anyway, let me just say, isolation is not good for people in general, and I'll just leave it in that. Like, what is anyway? This isn't even the bonus for today, but add ginger to your diet if it's not already there. The other day, let me talk about this. There's this company I'm familiar with. It's called, is it like Simply Mints? Uh, Here we go. Let me not touch the computer. Let me just use my phone. And thank you to everyone joining me now. Right now, it says that no one's joining me, but I know sometimes there's a lag. So if there is someone here at this second, thank you. If not, thank you to everyone joining me in the future. Again, sometimes there's a lag. Um, and I know that Muge is a channel in its beginning, so I'm not. If I only have a couple of viewers right now, I'm grateful for that. You know, it's not standard to just wake up and be at the top. You know, so I consider this operation to be succeeding. So thank you so much for being part of the success. Anyway, um, is this company? Is it called Simply Mints? No, Simply Gum. Yeah, the company's called Simply Gum. You can look up simplygum.com. And they have a lot of mint and um, I don't know, mint and chews, and then also candies that you can I guess just they're not chewable, but you just I guess you just suck on them till they're gone. So yeah. Anyway, things of that nature. Well, that's pumpkin spice too. Okay, that's the gum. Anyway, so me myself, I know a lot of people like gum. I used to eat gum. I just don't anymore because I found that it's bad for my teeth. Me personally, other people are different, but I do like mints and things that like suckable candies. Um, so check out the gum if you're a gum person, because gum is good for some people. My ancestor told me that. I know there's a lot of should do a video on this. There's a lot of back and forth, or maybe that's not the right term. There's kind of debate as to whether or not gum is bad because some people find it wears down your teeth, some people don't. And then certain gum products that might put too much sugar in it, for example. But I think that's about the individual product, not gum itself. Anyway, so there's this company called Simply Gum. I'll keep this up for the rest of the stream. Um, so you have simplygum.com. They have a lot of good products. One I want to highlight is apparently I was looking yesterday, it might have been 2 days ago, and they actually have ginger, um, I guess ginger candies. I think the right word I'm looking for is like candies, because again, candy is not inherently bad. It's just about what is in it. Um, I think they put them in the mints categories. I'm just trying to find the product. And again, these people have not paid me or anything. I just like their products. So I've used their peppermint mints before. Um, where is it? Okay, they call them mints. Anyway, I'm seeing it here. They have ginger mints. They also have cinnamon, but I want to highlight the ginger because ginger is it's known to have just vast positive health effects, and it helped me because, as you guys might know, um, I'll just say, particularly after I graduated from college in 2020, I was very sick, and I eventually, really last year, figured out that I'll call it the key part of the sickness. The key part of the sickness was just a lung issue. So ginger, eating more ginger, because obviously I'd had ginger before. Well, not obviously, not everyone really eats ginger. I won't say obviously. I'd had ginger before, but I hadn't had it in the amount and with the concerted intention to really fix my lung issue. So, but I started doing that, and then once my lung issue was better, I could breathe more, circulation was better, I could move, and then I could piece together, other issues I had. So it was helpful. Anyway, and for context, no one should, obviously, like if there's nothing, go, but no one should have to heal themselves. That's too much. Anyway, but I just want to highlight that. I'm not a fiddler, so I'm not gonna put the link in the chat, but you see the website simplygum.com. You can look at their products. Anyway, I'm just saying that because I'm a big advocate of ginger. Anyway, that's something you can do. Yeah, just see if you can order something off there or if you can find their product in the store. That's useful. Anyway, so I'll just repeat the first 2 points. Let's reset a bit. Because again, this is a serious issue, but you know me, there's a lot of unfortunate things going on here. Whenever something unfortunate is going on that has a certain character, I laugh at it. So when something is just so ridiculous, it makes me laugh. And there's different types of laughter. I'll just leave it at that. I'm going to go into this in the future. This is an important subject. Not all laughter is the same. Not everything that makes you laugh you should treat the same way. Okay. But anyway, so I see many famous people who post videos on YouTube fighting in the media. Point one. Point two, they seem to be focusing on the fact that black men are involved. And I think that focus is disproportionate, in particular because in the cases I've seen, such a small number of people are involved that I don't know if people's blackness, and I'll say it like that, in that way is the dominant factor. And I just say it like that because there's two types of blackness. Because there's more than two types of blackness. But in terms of what people are usually referring to very quickly, there's two and they mix. One, there's being a member of the black race, and two, there's being a member of the black category of existence, which is cross racial. So, again, I don't know everyone's exact racial breakdown that's been involved in this. It's just the right now, the vast majority of people who are part of the black category of existence are also part of the black race somehow. So I'll just leave it at that. Anyway, um, Yeah, I'll just leave it like that. And really, I'll also add the most are even matrilineally black, which is where you could just say, yeah, that's a person of black race without any caveats. Um, um, well, or let me say the lineage in which they sit is the black race, because 90% of people are matrilineal, 10% of people are patrilineal. That's based upon my research and then information given to me by my ancestors. And the lineage in which you sit, in my language, you call it the Abrudu sit lineage. That's basically the lineage that contains the relatives that you will interact with the most for the most part. That's not at all saying you don't interact with the other ones. You do. This is a percentage you'll interact with them the most. And these are the people who, let me just think of the best way to say it. These are the people who will make you comfortable. That's their job. And that's your collective mission. Other lineages, you have different jobs. For example, the corresponding lineage, which would be the Abaru uh, or Monique. Forgive me, I'm saying these terms in my language. If you want to see what I'm doing, just if you've seen, I guess, people who are in certain technical fields, they might name a lot of things in certain languages that people don't speak as much anymore. I'm doing the same thing. I'm just doing it in my language. People speak my language, just well, language in general is not doing well. So there's a lot of gaps. Anyway, I'm doing that, and I'm really doing it because I think in that language. It's not just stun here. Anyway, I'm just thinking how best to say these things, and again, this is pre 12 p.m., so the mind is still taking a shower. This is just like I was ready to get up. I had the idea. I was like, let's try this anyway. The point is with that, for most people, the energy lineage, let me just say that will be the patrilineage. So your relatives who are in your patrilineage, you'll primarily be like working and doing like working. You see that doesn't mean there's no um, fondness in your connection, because again, there's this culture of working with people you don't like, and when I say that, like working with people who you really revile and also you have no particular connection to, that's what they do in the outer limits. Okay, they don't even do that in hell. So the world is broken, so our concept of work is busted. So you should like the people you work with, and implicitly you're working with them consistently, because if you did the job one time. Okay, take a second. Snap. I think the two resets for me is when I shake this thing until I can snap. Um, wow. Certain things when you begin to talk about it, you're like, what's going on in the world? Anyway, let's reframe. So I'm talking about blackness, but as related on a related note, I was talking about what allows someone to say they're a member of the black race on the deepest level. I was just talking about matrilineage, well, sit lineage versus energy lineage. For most people, the sit lineage is the matrilineage, and the energy lineage is the patrilineage. 10% of people, it's flipped. Nothing wrong with that. It's just a different type of person. Um, yeah, I'll go into that more in the future. The whole point is, um, if your sit lineage is a lineage of the black race, you can. There's no caveats. You can just say a black person. If it's not the black race, it's what is known as the. And again, this is not. Keep in mind, language is broken. This is not a pejorative term. This is what it's called. The extreme race. Again, language is broken. My language, Abrelu, same thing. You could also call it the high race. That sounds better. Um, in English, everything sounds kind of weird. That sounds better. Let me just say that. Um, that it's like you wouldn't be black with that indice, but that doesn't mean you can't say you're a black person. That's uh, crazy. I mean, if your skin is like this, of course you're black. Is how anyway. That's a minority of people. Again, that's not bad. Being part of a racial minority is not bad. That's crazy anyway. And forgive me, I understand that these categorizations I'm talking about are not universally known, understood. This is just what I found. So this is something that should be discoursed in. Anyway, so the point is, people are focusing on how the people fighting are black. Um, I just think that, I'm seeing a lot of notifications, but at the same time, if I look at it, maybe even like 30 people involved. Just look at just investigate. What is that? I don't know. I just so I'm seeing certain things. I'm like, what's going on behind the scenes? I'll go into that anyway. So third point, podcasts seem to be central to these disputes. Podcasts seem to be central to these disputes. And again, forgive me. I know to an extent I'm being vague. It's just because I've just seen so many different headlines, so many different individuals. I don't want to name every single one. That's too much. I also, don't want to try and give a big summation of what's going on that tries to speak specifically about something like that. You understand? Again, I'll go into this in more depth in the future because, for context, the point of the personal one, this personal networks, I just get on here and just give my very raw thoughts. So my raw thoughts here is what is going on anyway. I don't know why it's that serious. So point 4, in relation to this stuff has me confused. Okay, yeah, I wrote. Okay, here are my notes. Oh yeah, I need to show you guys my notes. Can you see my notes? Can you see my notes? Anyway, so yeah, these disputes have me confused. I don't know why it's that serious because words alone do not remove someone from their station. So the level of seriousness and the amount of re-upping of points and coming back to it different segments has very much surprised me. I don't know. Perhaps the presentation issue. I don't know. Again, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes in these different groups. Anyway, well, I'm gonna say this a second time. Okay, I've been having in me to sing. If I don't sing now, when I go back to my room, I'll be singing too much. Anyway, yes, I'll be singing. Anyway, so here's a bonus piece of information. Avoid groups of people who do not like you. Such groups will hurt you. Avoid groups of people who do not like you. Such groups will hurt you. All right, now on to the bonus questions. Um, 1. Why have people become personally angry over media opinions alone? Why have people become personally angry over media opinions alone? Something to think about. Second question, have people also been attacked and or hurt in person? Have people also been attacked and or hurt in person? Something to think about. Anyway, I don't know. All right, let's see. So this is the first song before I come and give those points again. Here goes my work thingy. sing and then we'll be fast. Anyway, I want to make sure I'm not stressing my work materials here. Um, so I'm gonna be singing about expansion people or expansion persons. I think apparently people should mean something different. Anyway, my language, what I call Onyeka. If you want to think about it, the concept, and I really want to emphasize it's a concept because that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't exist. The concept of gods and goddesses, and also the concept of superheroes, I will say, is based off of the real reality of Onyeka, expansion people. You could also call them Onyele, or really savage people, because uh, because these people, one, they cannot manifest in the category of life the way we can, and two, uh, they can inhabit at least two, I'll just say, bodies at once. So because of all that confusion, they can be kind of savage. Okay, if you just think of a lot of those legends, at some point you will just look, because another translation for savagery is just watchery. So if all you're doing is you're like, what? um, yeah, I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna be singing about Onyeka that are part of Amadioa, the good husband of people, the thing. When everyone is ignorant and you give some knowledge, you feel weird. um, I'm going to be making a video soon outlining in detail my primary reasons for giving out metaphysical knowledge, because I've never really seen anyone do that. And that's crazy because you don't just come up to someone and say, "Hey, you're ignorant. You're ignorant. Here's the information. Get some knowledge. Get some knowledge." I don't like just telling people things. You're gonna find ignorant. I'm not a Hebrew Israelite. But serious, I have reasons for doing this. Two I'll give now. One, just to help people understand themselves better, and two, to help the world produce better food. Because there's all this calamity, people aren't producing good food. I want good food, man. And I can't cook, so I need people that do. Don't worry, I can plan the meal, and I'll clean up after. I like to clean up after people have scattered everything eating, because especially in a small space, no one is gonna do the big cleanup better than me, because they'll just do something I'm not satisfied with. They'll leave one corner of dirt here. They'll leave one thing here. Um, so if you really introduce new dirt into the situation, particularly food, if food has been left around, just let me clean it. Let me clean it, and then follow my lead. But yeah, when it comes to fiddling with that pan, I'm just gonna burn the house down. I'm not doing that. I remember I used to attempt to cook beef, and I just look at it like, yeah, I'm never gonna season this thing. Just look at it, I'm like, well, I guess I got rid of the germs, not for the taste. Anyway, so I'm gonna be singing about them. I'm just gonna explain them. Let's just go. I'm gonna start by snapping. I should stand. Stand for the blessing. Can't see me. Let's go. Ooh, Neptune. Ooh, Neptune. Ooh, Okavango. Ooh, all for Django. Ooh, Bango. Neptune. Ah, boom. Neptune. God of the sea. Neptune. Neptune, you see me, Neptune, the wolf, Neptune, the wolf, ah, boom, the wolf, the wolf, the wolf, the wolf. He ate her up, he ate her up, he ate her up, he ate her up, now she up. He ate her up, he ate her up, Neptune, Oka, 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 Ora, Oka, Vango, Ona Ba, Shango, Obara, Shango, Abum, Obara, Shango, Shango, Bara, yeah, Shango, Bara, he ate her up. Alright, there's a little song there. So that's song one. Look at the music sheet. I did this half. Alright. So, I'll just remember I did that around the hour mark, although I don't have a pen here. Lord have mercy. There's a note on my phone. Ooh, Abum shim shim roku. Abum mamari you hey. Abum mamari you hey. He ate her up. Now she get stuff. Abum mamari you hey. Abum Neptune waka. Abum mapar vina. Abum mapar ha. Abum nabe ofuma. Abum nabe kwansuka. Abum nabe a fall. Abum mamari you hey. Anyway, let's just do 1 hour mark to, let's just say that now, this when the song ends, when I use it. Yeah, let's just say the 2 minute, or two, let's say 202. I'll cook these things up later when you see the new form. Anyway, so let's re-go to the main points. Welcome again, everyone. My name is Chimoge. You can also call me Moge. Go to Simply Gum. Get yourself some mints, especially the ginger ones. Abu Monishi Kalakan. Abu Monishi Anaman. Abu Mana Kana. Anamakana Nua. Abu Kanu Wan. Abu Mamadi Yohakan. Abu Kanu Wan. Jidenkan. Many YouTubers seem to be fighting and talking about other people's fights in the media. Point one, I see many famous people who post videos on YouTube fighting in the media. What? Point two, they seem to be focusing on the fact that black men are involved. I don't know why. That's too narrow. Three, podcasts seem to be central to these disputes. Podcasts seem to be central. It seems there is a podcast apocalypse. Anyway, point four, this has me confused. Words alone do not remove. This has me confused. Words alone do not remove. Look at the sheet. Look at the sheet, folks. Anyway. Bonus piece of information for higher development. Avoid groups of people who do not like you. Such groups will hurt you. Avoid groups of people who do not like you. Such groups will hurt you. Leutabo. O2. Why have people become personally angry over media opinions alone? Why have people become personally angry over media opinions alone? Point two. Question two. Have people also been attacked and or hurt in person? Let's look at it. All right, let's sing. I'm going to be singing about animals that are integral to my being, and then I go out. Ooh. You seen the sheet? You can see it again. Agu, barosa. Agu, barosa, or barose, and meshosa. Agu, chuku, natu, matu, money, man, ebere, agu, burn, agu, no, sir. Agu, no, sir. Amadio, agu, no, sir. Amadio, agu, mo, burn, agu, no, sir.